Welcome back to another episode of Rock Boys Football. The Texas Longhorns get it done, landing five-star edge rusher Colin Simmons from Duncanville, Texas. And I don't think I'm saying anything groundbreaking. Colin Simmons is truly one of the freakiest players in this 2024 class. When you turn on the film, and we'll take a look at the film in just a second, you're going to see some next level burst and bend around the edges. His ability to cut corners, ghost offensive tackles is truly next level. And you're really going to see when we get into the film, tackles struggle to even get a hand on Colin Simmons. You take a look at what he's done on Friday nights at Duncanville, broke the Duncanville's record for sacks at 22 and a half sacks his junior year, added 33 tackles for a loss and 80 tackles. The athleticism, the ability to play in space, Colin Simmons pretty much checks all the boxes and truly the crown jewel for Texas in this 2024 class. Now we're going to get into Colin Simmons. We're going to talk a little bit about what this class could look like for the Texas Longhorns. Now, before we do, again, just want to say thank you to you guys, and especially the Texas fans. You guys have shown a ton of support as we've been covering the Texas recruiting trail. So appreciate y'all rocking with us. If you do enjoy the content, you enjoy the updates, consider subscribing to the channel. Appreciate y'all. And let's get into Colin Simmons. And I really just want to turn on the film. One knock that you have, and I don't really think it's a knock, it's the knock that the scouts have, is he needs to add a little bit more weight to his frame. And at the end of the day, he's going into his senior year. He's going to early enroll. He's going to put weight on the frame. But what you can't teach is the athleticism, the burst, the bend that he has coming off the line of scrimmage. Truly a dynamic pass rusher that, again, tackles cannot really deal with the twitch. And now these are the most impressive reps, just bending right underneath the tackle, barely can get his hands on him. And what I like most is he's really versatile. Like, you're seeing him as a pass rusher, and that's where he's at his best. But he's a guy that can play in space. If you ask him to drop back and cover in the flat, he has the athleticism to do that. And you see where defenses are going. Like, that's what you're going to be asked to do. And the Texas Longhorns got truly a special talent in Colin Simmons. Again, these tackles can't even get a hand on him with how much twitch he has coming off the line of scrimmage, the ability to cut the corner, working on the inside, splits the tackle guard. Really, really good closing speed when it comes to taking the quarterback down as well. There's not really many holes in his game, and you're even going to see some reps where he holds up in the run game as well, which is probably your biggest question. His ability to play the read option, go and take the running back, a really dynamic playmaker that you don't really have many flaws in his game. Like, this is, he's got the burst and bend. You saw in the first 10 reps of him just ghosting tackles. What is most impressive for me is I'm going to stack this offensive tackle right here. I'm going to shed him, and I'm going to make a play in the run game. That is kind of the complete package. And you talk about playing early as a true freshman, being able to stop the run, be a force in the run game. That's what matters. And Colin Simmons certainly brings that to the table. Now, I would encourage you guys to just watch Colin Simmons, again, blowing up a run play. Watch his film. Like, he is truly a dynamic playmaker. I want to dig into a little bit of this Texas class and kind of what we've been saying all year or all cycle for the Texas Longhorns is just wait, right? It got off to a slow start about 2 months ago. They had only 2 commits in their class. They were sitting outside the top 60, and they're starting to trickle in. And Colin Simmons, to me, seems like kind of an avalanche starter, if you will, right? I mean, like, you get Colin Simmons, the gravitational pull. Guys are going to want to go play for Colin Simmons. You take a look at this class, it's going to skyrocket into the top 20 once they add Colin Simmons in. But a really deep class with playmakers on the offensive side of the ball, which you're not surprised about. But what I love most is what they're doing on the defense, right? Jordan Johnson-Rebel, one of my favorite kind of nickel safety hybrid kind of guys coming from IMG Academy. You scroll down, and why has Texas had so much success the last couple of years, especially last year, and why we're so high on them heading into this 2023 season is what they've been doing on the trenches, right? Alex January, a teammate with Colin Simmons at Duncanville, Melvin Hills, some really big bodies on the defensive line. And the best part about this is it doesn't even seem like Texas is done, right? You take a look at some of the guys, and this is what we've been saying all cycle, is Texas is in it for a ton of guys. And I think, as if you got a bunch of irons in the fire, like, some of them are going to hit, and you're seeing Colin Simmons hit. I want to talk about Dominic McKinley, the 5-star edge rusher, the number 1 player from the state of Louisiana. Texas gaining traction with him, and you add Colin Simmons. And if you can add Dominic McKinley, you're looking at one of the more special defensive line classes that is going to be brought in the 2024 class. And that's again why Texas has had so much success, I think, the last couple of years, especially last year and going into this year, is the physicality and the difference makers that they've been able to acquire in the trenches. Right. And then you take a look at Dominic McKinley and Colin Simmons. There's a couple other guys they're trending for too. 5-star cornerback Kobe Black sounds like he's a Texas lean. He just announced his top 5. And then you go in to get 5-star wide receiver Ryan Wingo. And I mean, that's not necessarily the most surprising thing, right? When you have Quinn Ewers in the 2023 class, when you have Coach Sark calling the plays, the offensive talent's going to come. But what you're most excited for Texas is the ability to get difference makers like a guy in Colin Simmons on the defensive side of the ball. That is when you talk about moving to the SEC, being a top team in the SEC, that's what you need to have. And Texas certainly addressing that in this 2024 class. And again, Colin Simmons, I really do think is one of those players that the pedigree, the playmaking ability that he brings, I think is going to attract some other players in Texas in it for a ton of guys. Colin Simmons being a true freak of this 2024 class, a massive get for the Texas Longhorns. We'll close it out there. Again, appreciate you guys rocking with the boys like you guys have. If you do enjoy the content, consider subscribing to the channel, and we'll talk to y'all later. Peace.